Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Palm Wine Central podcast episode. This is a continuation from last episode, and in this episode, let me see how to start this one. Shout out to Lillian, by the way. She was supposed to join us today, but she's not joining us for this part two. Loria, I hope you have sharpened your mouth because you are carrying this episode with all these questions that we have for you. Just take the line to her. I don't know what you did to me, but anyway, you can either thank her or don't thank her, whichever one you please. Today, this is your own time to shine. You know what I mean? Where was I going to start? Oh, yeah. Let's begin like this. Are we truly living in an era of equality, or are the lines between empowerment and expectation still blurred? This is an episode of Palm Wine Central Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Uncle AK. I got my other good host with me, Therese. What's good with you? How are you feeling today?
What it do, baby?
Are you excited for this one?
What's that agent? And it, hey,
I don't know what we'll do our grammar. This week, you have no grammar. I mean, I know I can't read, but god damn. Like,
it's the side effects.
Don't put this on me. Don't put this on me. Don't put this on me. You've been talking to me too much. Don't do this. But anyways, how your week been? How's your week been?
It's been long and stressful, but we're here.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask that any feedback from last episode, but you could hold on to it, while let's get the intro going. And then Loria, how you doing? Welcome back.
Thank you. Well, this week has been great for me. So had an exam this morning, passed, so that's all I needed.
Sense manner. The last time I ever told myself that I had an exam I passed, I was probably in my mother's womb. But anyways, today in this episode, like I said, it's a continuation from last week's episode, but it's part two from last week. So the questions we have today are a little bit heavy and different from last week. So hopefully, Loria can cover a little bit of them the best way she can, and T2 as well. But we deep diving into feminism, gender role, and how these concepts shape and advise young folks in today's society or generation, however you put it. We explore everything from parental influences to what it means to be a man or a woman navigating modern societies. And yes, we will tackle whether men really do have it easy into the society than women. This is not an episode for men, even though I did mention that. It's all about women. But again, we'll still tackle men really have it easy. For our icebreaker today, we're going to start like this. So I cheated on my husband. I was honest with him when the DNA came back that he was not the father. We were planning to work things out, but I would have to give up the baby for adoption. I don't think it is right that he's making me choose between him and my child. He says he's divorcing me if I keep the baby, but marriage vows are for better or for worse. What kind of a low-life husband leaves his wife to be a single mother if she doesn't want to give up her child? All I've been was a good woman. Wait. There's a part two to this. Many married men do the same thing, and their wives accept the baby. Where is her husband's grace and forgiveness? Why are women so quick to castigate and malign a woman, but not a man when they do the same sin? He should refer to his vows and grow to love his beautiful baby as his own. What do you guys think? T, please take this one first. Let me let Loria, think about this one. T, take this one. What do you think?
So they caught her in the lie. First of all, let me start like this. Women in men's field. You know that trendy thing? Women in men's field. That's a typical man move. But I don't know. It's just her justifying that she has been a good wife. And I don't think that that affair was a mistake. It was deliberate because she hid it. Like how you go, it's too much going on. It's just, it's too much. And yes, women don't have it easier than men. Consequences for the most part in society is harsher on women for things like that than it is on men. It is what it is. You're not gonna change it. So I don't know. She played herself. That's all I can say. She played herself.
So, okay, Gloria, what do you think?
I feel like she's dead wrong because 9 times out of 10, she won't want him to cheat and bring back a child for her to raise. To me, that does not even make sense. Asking somebody to do something that he hopefully knows that he cannot do. If he's telling her to choose between the child and him, it's because he knows that he won't be a good father to that child. So she, as a mother to that child, should decide that, hey, I broke my vows with this man, because you cannot talk about vows now when you are the first person who broke the vows. You broke the vows, bear the responsibilities and the consequences of whatever comes from that. That is one thing I don't like about this society. Nobody wants to bear the consequences of their actions anymore. It's like, oh no, this is my truth. This is my truth. I just hate that. You did something, you bear the consequences, you carry your cross, and you move on. He wasn't there when you were laying down with another man to have a child 9 months. That takes a lot. It's not like you slept and woke up, oh, the child was there, boom. No, it took 9 months to get to that point. So you go raise the child with the baby daddy or with your family or whoever, and let that man go live his life with somebody else that will be faithful to him. Because if down the line he doesn't, he tells you he'll take the child, then mistreats the child, or I don't know, S's the child, then it becomes another problem. That's because he may not even be able to see that child as his own, and you forcing that child on him would only bring negative things to your family. So to me, I'm okay with what the man said, because he knows that he cannot do it. Instead of forcing himself and lying to himself that, hey, I love this woman and I'll be able to do it, and waste more valuable time, just go your own way. Simple.
She asked about grace of the husband. I think her husband showed her grace by saying, we'll make this work if you put the baby up for adoption.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's grace.
Well, let's talk about the lack of respect for the husband in the first place. Low life. I mean, why are you so upset that a low life is telling you that you should go and adopt a kid? I mean, if it was so low life, why are you wanting to stay with him? You know, I mean, what are you getting from a low life? I don't understand that part. But the one that really had me thinking was, I mean, I once asked this question to my mom, right? When you were pregnant with, your kids and stuff like that, and this was just the naive side of me, asking this question, the naive, curious side of me. When you're pregnant, do you stop having sex, or do you continuously have sex? I mean, I don't get it. I mean, like, tell me what happens. And she goes, well, I mean, just because the baby is there now does not mean the baby does not need nourishment from the father as well, right? For example, what the dad looks like, the hair, the skin, nails, all that good stuff. So, of course, you got to keep supplying that stuff. So it had me thinking, now that she got pregnant for the other guy, so if the guy accepted her, is he the one who's supposed to keep, or is she going back to the other guy to, I mean, of course, just the one time is good enough. I get that. But still, just, my curiosity, just, for the nourishment of the kid and, having the attributes of the father, which one is she having sex with for the 9 months? The husband or the one that she got pregnant with? I'm really curious.
Hold on, first of all, hold on. That's too much. Oh, Jesus. First of all, sex during pregnancy ain't got nothing to do with the baby's nourishment.
Okay.
Let's start there. But I get what you're saying, right? It's like an old folks tale that the father needs to keep having sex with the, for nourishment. But biologically, that's not what happens. But then to your point about that is a good question. Unless she let that man really, man, that's messed up. I don't even want to think about it.
The men who actually accept the women, like so in this situation, right? The men who say, okay, fine, we accept it. I'm gonna be the father, things like that. Again, my question is, why she's pregnant? Since you are so forgiving, do you still have sex within this 9 months, or do you wait when she's given birth, right? Yeah, I'm really curious to know. And when you do, fam, what goes on in here? Like, yeah.
Well, according to how the husband find out after the baby was born, I don't know how old, because he said
the
DNA test.
The DNA testing.
Yeah. Yeah, so he definitely was in there. I can
That means
guarantee you.
that means if the DNA never came, she would have never told the guy that, that was so. So which leads to my next point, which is, you remember that one episode we had about it should be mandatory that, not mandatory, but it should be right. It's only right. And a man should not feel bad for saying, hey, is it okay if, I get my DNA checked with this child? This has nothing to do with the trust I have for my wife, but just to cross my boxes,
Yeah, I still believe that. if you want your DNA test.
No, that's a very slippery slope. Because whatever you guys are trying to say or trying to condone there, I won't take it. You cannot tell me, oh, you're with your husband, and if you decide to me, I'm not going to talk about everybody in general, but to me, if you tell me that you're looking at this child and you don't believe that a child is yours, you want a DNA test, I'm going to leave you.
Why?
Because that's kind of insulting. It's like you don't trust me, and then you feel like, oh, you need that extra reassurance to make sure that the child is yours. Like, really?
I'll submit to you something.
If it's just a regular, I don't know, one night stand, first of all, or whatever unserious relationship, situationship, whatever people want to call these days, that's on you. But in a regular household committed relationship, to me, that's a no.
See, I used to think that way, and I'll tell you why I changed my mind. Because you see how we just said that the man wants to know that the baby is his, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is not anything against you. Why was your first instinct the fact that the man doesn't trust you? Have you seen that at hospitals they change babies? People have gone home with the wrong babies. People have had IVFs with the wrong eggs and sperm. You know that's a possibility, right?
Right.
But my thing is, your first instinct is that you think that he doesn't trust you. What if that's the reasoning that he wants to go? He just wants reassurance. Okay, yes, you had this baby, but let's get the DNA test to make sure that it's my own. Is that still not valid? It has nothing to do with not trusting you. He just wants to know the baby is his.
In that light, that's different. A man coming and telling me, hey, I want to have a DNA test to make sure that is my child, and saying, hey, I feel like the baby was swapped at the hospital, or there's something different with this child. Those are two separate conversations. We can't mix together.
No, but what I'm saying is this, right? It was not like a conversation on its own. He just says, I want a DNA test. You
Just,
still like, yeah, like, I would like to have a DNA test to know if this baby is mine. You still like,
just out of nowhere.
yeah, just.
Yeah, you did, Chris.
Mention something about one night stand, right? Like, it's not just like it's a one night stand thing or whichever. So my thing is, let's say, for example, if I was to get another woman pregnant, right, and I call myself, okay, this is what happened, you would tell me to go get a DNA test, correct? And then if I say no, I know it's not you. Like, no, go and get the DNA test and make sure, even though in my chest of chest, I know it's my own. So why is it that when this one is the same, even though you think in my chest of chest I should know, why can I not still be in doubt? I mean, I trust you, regardless of what, but why can I not I'm human. I'm a human being, right? I'm a human being. I have my good, bad, ugly. Why am I not allowed to feel the way I feel? Why am I not allowed to request for a DNA? Why do you think that it's just a matter of trust? I'm just supposed to trust just like that, being that there is so much going around the world that we see. Why?
Because at this point, it's not about the world. It's about you and me. It's not about the world. Because I'm like, we shouldn't mix things up. There are things happening in the world. Yes, there's certain things. It's the same way if I say men has come, men has come. And then I still sit, or when women say out there, I don't trust men. But then you see people still going and getting married. Does it mean you don't trust your partner, but you still want to get married? To me, that shouldn't apply. Sometimes I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say men are stupid, men are scum, but I cannot sit and tell my partner that you, the man, are a scum. Then I am stupidly submitting to a man that is scum. How do I look?
So wait, deep down inside though, if you're really being honest with yourself, let's just say that he will not hear that part. Don't you feel that way sometimes?
That men are scum.
Yeah.
Do you know what scum is? I think scum is a little extreme. It's not. Sorry, we're asking Loria. I just got heated. Not bad.
Is it?
That's not a word I'm going to use to describe it.
Yeah, it's not a word that I will
right?
use.
It's not say trash. It's not same. It's not a word I'll use to describe any human being. There's a word they use, trash, right? They have all these different words. Is it adjectives to describe men? You know what I mean? But then when they do that, they turn around. The same mouth that uses to condemn men is the same mouth that uses to, you know what I mean? So what is it that, these people who say men are trash, men are scum, this and third, what is it that you really tell yourself when you go to bed? What is it? What kind of lie do you really be telling yourself when you do that? Is it, again, we talk about humanity, right? Is it just to please your friends that, oh, I'm a hardcore woman and I don't take shit, when behind the scenes, you take, matter of fact, the public latrine is connected to you, or anyways.
Yeah, if you use that word to describe anybody that you care about, then I don't know, you are in the same category as that person. Like Gloria said, right? If she looks at her husband and said, "You're scum," what does that make you? Really, if you are dealing, what that makes you equally scum, right? Birds of the same feather. So,
scum dealer.
Really, Scrum Master.
Thank you.
Yeah, no. I feel like if you use that word with me, it's a rap.
Yeah.
Like if I was a man, a woman used that word to me.
You know how like a ton of women always, majority of women say men are trash? Always like, oh, men are trash, men are this, oh, men are trash, men are... But yet, it's the very ones that always say that. that get on their knees and they pray to God and say, God, please, if you take me out,
hallelujah challenge.
you take me out of this single lane, I would never in my life.
They pick their one trash, they take him to the, how they call it, dry cleaner.
You know what?
Yes.
You people want to set me up. The Lord is my shepherd. So now they pick their one trash and take it to the dry cleaner.
Getting waxed on and off. But anyways, T, I beg can we go with next segment?
Wow. Let me laugh. Okay. So in honor of Women's History Month, just briefly, we are just gonna highlight woman historical figure before we proceed. Now don't go away. We're gonna still go deep in conversation. But this one is for all the naysayers and men who don't think women got it like that. They know themselves. AKA. So today we'll highlight Marie Curie. She is she's famously known as the greatest scientist woman that ever existed. She was born in 1867. She was a pioneer physicist and chemist, and best known for her groundbreaking work on radioactivity. She was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize, the only person ever to win 2 Nobel Prizes, and in 2 different scientific fields. So in physics and in chemistry. She discovered radium and polonium, one of those radioactive elements on the periodic table. If you don't know what that is, go and do your research. She was married to the French scientist Pierre Curie, and she actually is the one who coined the term radioactivity. Okay. And then she developed mobile X-ray units during World War I to assist battlefield doctors. Marie Curie's work revolutionized medical treatments, physics, and chemistry. Her research paved the way for advancement in radiotherapy for cancer and nuclear science. She broke gender barriers and inspired and continues to inspire countless women in the STEM field. She died in 1932 from anemia due to long exposure to radiation, but her contributions continue to impact science and medicine today. So those are the people who should be your icons, not celebrity walking around half naked. Sorry, that last part was unnecessary,
but very necessary. You know what I'm saying? Very necessary. Very, 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 very necessary. Because like I said, you'll not believe people go to the store and instead of buying clothes that cover their body, they go and buy back races and then they come out thinking people are supposed to take them serious. Like, anyways, I diverted a bit. We appreciate you, for doing the research on, a prominent woman for this month. I mean, for this week. Next week we'll have another one. Can't wait to see what you come up with. I'm gonna leave it all to you. You know what I'm saying?
No, don't leave it all to me. But let's get into something that we already started, right? In a sense. Mm-hmm. Recently, there's this word that gets thrown around, or gets not thrown around, gets used more frequently. Feminism. Gloria, what's your concept on feminism? Is it practical? Is it applicable?
My answer is going to be kind of two-sided, right?
Okay.
In a way that when you're looking at it globally, feminism is, let me put it this way, where feminism is needed, it's not really put into place, and where it's not, it's overdone. That's according to me. If you want to catch these hands, that's your business. What I mean is, like, if you look at these third world countries where women are still very much oppressed, where women still barely have any rights, where it's, yes, it's said that women have rights, but when you go to the nitty gritty of how the economy is run and everything, it's still very much the man who has the power. But when you come to the Western world where we live now, where women have enough of power to do whatever they want, unfortunately, in the period we live in now, it has been taken to the extreme where now we get the little girls misguided, to me, misguided and mistrued information where they now want to stand to the same footing as a man, which to me doesn't make sense. Because again, there are two different aspects. You, a man, and you, a woman, you guys are equally important, but don't fulfill the same roles. We need to always remember that base. And when feminism goes to the extreme, where it starts putting the idea in little girls that whatever a man does, a woman can do too, it's very deep to just say it out flat and let it fly. Because when you say that, people take it to just the base level. But I can promise you, if you have to take a job, like if you take software engineering or data engineering, yes, women entering that field is cushy, it's cozy. But if I take you and I send you to the mines, like here in Canada, where it goes to all the way to negative 30 to go down those wells and dig deep in negative 30, 40 degrees, you won't survive as a woman, unfortunately. So in that case now, why don't women too also integrate that field? It's because it's not cushy, it's not posh, it's not what the desk jobs look like. So we have to kind of weigh our words when we talk about feminism because it's been taken a lot out of context. Yes, feminism gave us the right as women to vote, especially here in this side of the world. Women are always going to use the argument it's what is bringing us to equality of wages, it's what is bringing us to part of DEI where I can go off on mat leave and have my job secured, which wasn't something before because before when you left as a pregnant woman, your job wasn't secure because they needed to fill it again. But again, we are blessed nowadays. I just came back from mat leave after a year and I'm still having my job. I'm still being integrated back into my office, which I would never discredit feminism for. But we need to remember that when we talk about feminism, there are levels it and not just say blandly that, oh, we are at the same or equal footing as a man. That's where I have that nuance with people who say they are feminists. I'm not going to call myself a feminist because to me, it's the way society sees it now. To me, it's too nuanced to just say I'm a feminist. Like, I wish there was a word in between. I don't know if I haven't coined something around, but to me, there should be something in between.
That's interesting that you said that because I was gonna ask you a follow-up question on that and ask you like, do you consider yourself a feminist or if you are a traditional woman? But I'll say instead of using feminism, because of you're either you're in the middle, right?
Yeah.
You consider yourself a modern wife or a traditional wife?
Even at that, I'm not gonna lie, I still find it hard to coin myself because I pull from both sides in
Mm-hmm.
such a way where if I were a fully trad wife, I won't be going back to work. I won't be sending my child to daycare so I can go back to the office. But at the
Sure.
same time, I don't see myself sitting in the house all day with all these degrees hanging over my head and not doing anything with them. I need to use that part of my brain. I need my brain moving. So which is why I still have to be a modern woman in such a way where I will work, but I'm not the breadwinner of my house. I don't even make as much as my husband does. But again, it's in such a way that, hey, God forbid something happens to him, I should be able to stand and sustain my child's life without him having to chip in. It's not necessarily divorce. I'm talking about divorce here. Because people always think that when you talk about your partner not being there anymore, is divorce. No, is if he dies, God forbid, prematurely, how does that life look like? If he gets injured in such a way that he cannot sustain our family anymore, what does that life look like? Do I have to degrade my lifestyle to be able to survive? That is why I keep my heart as a working woman, because I want to be able to survive in those cases. And also because I have extended family. I'll love to help. I have junior sisters that, hey, if they call me that they have a problem that they cannot call my parents for, I want to be able to help. So it's still that in between where I still cook for him every weekend. If he wants a particular meal, not at 3 o'clock in the morning, please don't even try. He's gonna listen to the episode. At 3 o'clock in the morning, don't try it. I'm not gonna cook. But if he wants dinner before putting the child to bed, I'm gonna make the dinner, meal prep, everything, take care of the house. But at the same time, I want to be able to work. I want to be able to bring in somebody. If I need the house cleaned professionally, that is something that we can afford. Great. If you need external help, you can hire, outsource things. So I'm still in between the two. So, but some days are more traditional, some days are more modern. It just depends on what food I wake up on.
Let me ask you this, right? Just right along those lines. Have you ever felt pressure to conform to certain roles because of your gender? And how do you navigate those pressures?
Yes, a lot. Again, my mom and my grandma are very present in my life. So sometimes, especially when you go to them for advice, they're like, oh no, you're not supposed to do that. You're not even supposed to say anything. You're just supposed to do as you're told. And I'm just like, really? Don't I also have a brain that I can chip into something? Like okay, let's take this scenario. We were planning our wedding in Cameroon, and then to me, I was like, oh, I wanted my dress made in a particular way, so I paid for my dress. My mom was like, oh, why do you pay for your dress? Is the man that's supposed to pay for it? And I'm like, but I'm working. I have my own money. She was like, no, you're not supposed to use your money for that. And to me, so we were kind of clashing there, because to me, I'm like, there's no need for me stressing out about paying for a dress that I want, and I know how I want it to be made, and I don't care for it because I'm going to put in the money for my dress to be made the way it's supposed to be, because that's my vision. That's not necessarily his. What if he just wants me to wear a plain dress, and because he's paying, he's gonna only pay for maybe a 50K dress, whereas the dress that I want is 100K and I can afford it. So what should I do? I should not wear the dress or pay for it because the man does not want to pay for it. I don't know if you get the point.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's like, yes, I go to my mom for advice and all those kind of things, but she's very much more traditional than I am. So it's always like everybody trying to pull you back, like, oh no, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to raise your child like this, you're supposed to do this. So it's always a give and take.
Just again, last one. Sorry, T. um, um, what's my thought process? Oh yeah. So we're talking about 50-50, right? Just something along those lines, for those who subscribe to that 50-50. And we're talking about bills, right? And in the house. Versus those who believe that a man is supposed to take care of it, and all that. Regardless, to me, the way I see it, 50-50 does not really mean that, oh, you have to split everything in half, right? Because somebody can have more than you, but you bringing in ideas could also be part of the 50, right? Just the ideas, or you just taking the time to say, you know what? A mortgage is actually $1,000 versus somebody say, oh, how much is mortgage? Man, I don't know. Now, my mom, they take care for that senior. So what if he drops dead now? What happens? Right? What if it drops dead? What happens? Do you start going like, hey, where do you keep this? Where da? God forbid, it's not somebody who subscribes into wills, right? What do you do? So as a woman, like, and when you talk to your counter, like your sister girls, is it something that people discuss? Like, yo, when you talk about 50-50, is the idea really solely money, or are there other ideas that go into it? And if so, when we talk about support, help, how are they doing so within that? Just not the financial aspect, but just also knowing that, within the household, this is what it takes for this house, to stand. I don't know if you get my question, but yeah.
Yeah, I do get your question. And first of all, I do not subscribe to the 50-50 mentality in the sense that, because when most people say 50-50, they think about financially, right? But to run a household is more than just financially. It's okay, there's the household chores where, again, most of the burden is left on the woman. And if unfortunately you're the kind of woman that likes things done in a particular way, you even feel it more because you're like, oh, I cannot let this person do this because I have my own type of clean. So that is what
Just call my name at once.
I
I saw you looking at me.
have my own type of clean. I like things done this way. And it's hard to integrate another person in your life when you've been used to doing things that particular way. And then there's also, I don't know if this is going to come out wrong, but men sometimes it's like you people lack some small sense inside here that we women have, because I'm able to remember all these things that need to be done. And then my partner's like, wait, what? What were we supposed to do again? And is this, you now have to remember that unfortunately, there's that emotional burden that you have to carry that he cannot carry, but there are other things that he carries that you would not even think of. So it's always having to remember that, hey, it's not that the other person just sits and don't think about things because you think about them, but you also have to remember that there should also be some comfort in the fact that he's able to let go of those things because he knows you got it, and you should also be able to let go of certain things because your partner has it. Because again, if you're not able to do that, then what is the point being in the marriage or the relationship you are in? Like, again, I'm going to take me for example. I had a really big exam that was coming up and I needed to scale back on house stuff. And I was okay doing that because I'm like, I know my child is still going to have his routine followed because his dad knows his routine. He knows that, hey, if I have to go work out, I have to come back by 6:30 because the child needs to be bed by 7. And I cannot be able, I wasn't able to do that yesterday because I had to revise. He stepped in before I wanted to notice 7, the child was sleeping while I was still in my office working. So it's that you have to know how to shift stuff around, which makes it never 50-50. There has to be periods in your life where you carry more than this person, and then other periods where the other person carries more. But if it's always one person carrying, then that is where the problem is.
Right. So before we move on to maybe another part of the question, do you think there's room for women to be in the traditional role in today's society?
From what I see, no. Because one, first of all, life is really expensive, so it makes it very hard for there to be a one person income household. That is really hard. But two, where I find it even harder is other women bashing a woman who decides to be fully traditional and submit to a man. Because again, it's like, oh, why would you do that? What if he leaves you? What if he cheats? You have nothing for yourself. Da, da, da. And you're like, you don't know what their relationship is like. You don't know. Yes, unfortunately, there have been a lot of negative cases where a woman decided to fully commit. The man cheated. He carried or their life savings and disappeared. But why do you have to project that onto another person's marriage? So it's that projection where yours did not work. So you think that another person's traditional lifestyle would not work. You don't know the basis of their marriage. You don't know what their day to day is like. So do not project that, especially with this era of social media where a lot of people try to share about their lives, even in the littlest way possible. Not I'm not mostly talking about even the social media influencer. I'm just talking about maybe me if I decide to post certain aspects. You see people with unwarranted comments coming out, oh, that can never be me. Oh, I can never do that. And God forbid your page goes viral, a lot more people will project their own insecurities of their marriage and stuff onto you. That makes it even harder to be a traditional woman and subscribe to, hey, this man is here to lead and I'm going to follow.
A lot of them would just hear this one and then they would just be doing this. Like, I beg, I beg, I beg, I beg. You know, the funny thing is, most of them that always say that, they would die of opportunity to sit in that same place that person is, but they don't want to admit that. And even as I'm saying this, they are twisting their faces, ugly as it is. You know you will do it. You know you will do it. But anyways, we'll move. If you like, thanks. But you know, it's ugly. Why are you doing that? But you know you'll do it. So stop lying to yourself. I'm going to find you jelly or jolly that will make you happy, and stop vexing with people for no reason, just because that, you know, you haven't gotten some in the past 2 weeks. Anyways, moving forward. Why don't we choose our parents? But they often shape who we become. You know, you just mentioned something about, you know, our parents often, you know, always having an opinion or say in, you know, what we do just because they've been here before and they think that they always have a say. Well, they do have a say. Not that they think, please, I beg, Mom, if you hear this, I didn't mean no offensive, but you do have a say in what I do. But at some point, you know, we grow up to be, you know, the adults that, you know, we are today. So, for you, Lori, as a woman, right? I know last episode we defined what really a woman is. But to you, how has, you know, that parental influence shaped who you are in your marriage today? Or has it in any way, shape, or form? And is it still so? Do you find yourself sometimes, you know, having to forget what, you know, your vows were because you're having parental influences in you? Let's discuss.
To be truthful, yeah, my parents' marriage kind of influences the way I run things in my own household, because I saw some examples that I really want to emulate, but at the same time, there are other things that I'm like, I can do without. And then there comes the little friction when you're like, hey, maybe I don't want to do things this way, and your mom is like, oh no, but this has always worked for me. Not remembering that we don't even live in the same society anymore, where you could do those things, and now to me it's like I really do not want to. So it's really like, I love you, mom, but no, there are certain things that you did that I truly do not want to do. There are so many, so I'm just like, you always have to like adapt to the society you're living in right now, and at the same time you have to be like, how can I put it in the nicest way before these people's internet people come. I really try
Don't worry,
to.
we're not that famous yet. So
You
don't
never
worry
know what
for us,
episode is gonna kick off and
right?
they're gonna go. But to me, I just feel like I try as much as to keep the like, I'll call it outside noise outside. Like if I have a problem with my husband, it's not immediately call my mom and say, hey, you see what he did, da, da, da. Because let me tell you something. Your family does not forget. You may forgive and forget, but your family will not. And you make it harder for you to ever come and show a positive something that your partner has did, because they always remember that one. Again, many people remember with the bad things, so you'd be hard to always remember those. It'd be hard to look at the positive when they still hang on to that one negative thing that you may have even overreacted about, but because of the way you said it or explained it to them to get them to agree with you, then they just get stuck on that.
I like one thing you mentioned about like shielding your partner from also those external influences, right? Because I remember one time where I was seeing this guy, and then all these things were happening, and I never mentioned. So my family thought this dude was a saint. I mean, it's not like I was hiding bad things, right? I just know that, they will forgive, you will forgive, but they won't forget, right? And they'll tease you for that shit till you guys die. Be like, and then your partner loses weight in their eyes. So now he doesn't have a leg to stand on because you've gone behind and you've said, not that necessarily said all these bad things, but you've exposed his vulnerability to people who cannot handle it. And now they cannot look at him the same way when he stands to talk. And so when she hit the fan with this in this relationship, and I was telling my mom, and she was like, he did that? When did this happen? And when with this? Why did he not ever tell me? I was like, well, and then, well, if I had done that, just like you said, their first instinct is to protect us. And so it will go straight to defense mode. And sometimes they will give you advice with the best of intentions, but the impact of that will be completely different from what I want. And so that's something that I think that I learned to do, is to protect my partner's vulnerability. Now, there are certain things, if you do, bet your ass, I will go and report your ass. Because if you act funny, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. You know what I mean? But like, if you go and act funny, know that you'll be the one to defend your image. I'm not defending no foolishness. Right? But yeah, I'm glad that that's something that you subscribe to in that sense. But before but Uncle Eke, in this sense, since we're talking about women, right? In your opinion, with regards to this external noise, how is it that you think women play a role in balancing that, in your opinion, or from what you've seen, or from the people that you're close to, in balancing that, what they like, their own decisions, and separating their own decisions, their own voice from external features? So even in past relationships, how does that work out for you? Like, giving us like a hindsight or whatever into your experience with women.
That's like you telling me to go and count sand.
Really?
Yeah. Like, how much time do I have? No, please. God gave me a better way to use my brain. That is like, yeah, that's headache, man, because you never know with this one, right? First of all, yeah. The more I try to think on this, or the more I see a ton of people, a group of people who say, I want this, but do that. Expect this, but get that, and still be fine with it or be okay with it. So it's like, at some point, it's like, and then sometimes I put their foot down, sometimes I don't. So to me, it's a little bit confusing. Let me speak plain English. Sometimes you see, a woman will say, okay, I want to be a working woman, I want to be, to be respected, want to have kids, all, this and the third. And it's something that they've, I guess, been groomed their entire life to, from birth, right? But the minute shit hits the fan, right? Meaning they say I do. It's like wanted this and the third. I've wanted this particular moment all my life. I've worked for this particular moment all my life, which is to be married. Now you're in it, and it's like the very first day of school. You hear classroom bells ringing, and it's time to go to class, and you don't even know what class you're supposed to be taking. It's like you didn't prepare for this moment. You know what I mean? If somebody's supposed to come and direct you, right? You should already know. You didn't think about what will happen when you say I do. What's next? You didn't think about that. And I'm not saying it's all of them, but a majority of them live in that fairy tale land where it's like, oh, once it's there, I've arrived. Nah, it's a beginning of a whole new journey. You got to take a brand new book and start from page 1. It's not, I'm about to start in the middle. Now, fam, it's not going to work. And to me, that's what I see a lot of my sisters having issues. Not a lot. Some of them. And then they have to come now and then readjust to what reality really is. And which is, most times, it's not even that 50-50 that they're thinking about. And things like that. So, yeah.
I regret asking that question because I was like, I wish I did not ask you.
There's a lot to unpack in what he said, but part of what you say they do or believe, to me, I kind of feel it that way too. Because let's take, for example, the part where you talk about marriage being like a brand new book. Like, it's not, oh, you guys have been dating and then it's continuation. It was never a continuation. It's something that, yes, you can build upon, but it's not a continuation because the titles have changed. And with those title changes, there are things that will have to change. And unfortunately, in this time, many people don't do premarital counseling. So they miss a lot of stuff, or they don't use their dating stage properly to kind of assert what they want. And then when they get into marriage, and then what they truly want comes out, because again, it will, whether you like it or not, it will. Then people start saying, oh, I got married and he changed or she changed. No, that's because when you were dating, you did not see exactly what you wanted. You did not give your no's and yes and maybes. Because I'm not gonna lie, before I met my husband, yes, prior to that, yes, we're dating. Yeah, I wasn't even sure. Yes, the idea of marriage is there, but you're not really intentional about putting it out there that, oh, this is what I truly want. When I got into this relationship and I got serious, on the very first date, I told him, after a year, if you're not even thinking, I'm not saying that we have to get married after a year. If you're not even thinking of getting married, we're done. If marriage is not the thing that you see in 2 years, max 3, we are done. I'm not saying that, oh, I want you to get married to me now. But if that's not, because there's some people that don't want to get married, and you should know it. It's not something that is hidden. It's there, but people just hide because they want to have a good time. Oh, I don't want to have kids, but you're playing around under the sheets. The kids are gonna come. So you have to be able to make it known. If you're able to be clear that, hey, this is what I want. And the first thing, it has to start being true to yourself. And maybe you may need to go through therapy to be able to be truthful yourself, because that's how I got to know what I really wanted. Because when I left the last relationship, I had to go to therapy. I'm like, what do I really want for myself? What is what And you have to be open about accepting what you want, to be able to kick out the people that will come and play like, oh, what is your favorite color? I can take you to the best restaurants, I can take you to Dubai, I can take you to. But do you want to have a family? If those are things that are important to you, do you want to have that? Because let me know, like, I've heard a lot of people get married because oh, I'm getting to 30, I need to get married. I'm getting to 30, I need to have my kids. I'm ready to especially 30, because again, that's where the age that many people have given themselves. I'm getting to 30, I don't have a man yet. But my mom at this age, she already had 2 kids, 3 kids. Is that pressure? And then many people fall in relationships that they had no business being in. And unfortunately, we know many people in that situation. And then now they can't get out because they'll be like, oh, what do people think about me? I just got married. Now I want to get divorced. Well, you had no business being married in the first place. You have to be able to accept that. And you have to be able to do the work to know that, hey, this is what I want. This is what I don't want. If you want to play, good and fine. Find somebody who wants to play. If you want to get married, find somebody who wants to get married. Don't be wanting to play and then find somebody who wants to get married. And you guys start butting heads and you wonder what is happening. You guys are not aligned. You have no business being together. And if many people could be truthful about that, then we'll have less bad relationships. I'm not going to say that marriage is not end. No, because again, in marriage, there are multiple seasons. This season may work for you, but the next season may not work for you, because maybe this season all of you guys are gainfully employed. There's no kid, you're a dink. That's dual income, no kids, please, before people start hearing different
Before I
things.
say the thing that
Like when I was dating my partner, we were dinks. That was a nice spot to be in. You could travel how you want, you could eat out anytime you want. But now having a kid, that's a third person you need to account for. This is a different season. And if you're not careful, this season will not work for you, because what if the person was not really interested in having kids and the kid came accidentally? That becomes a problem. What if down the line your partner temporarily loses your job and you have to be the breadwinner? How does that work? Those are things that you have to openly discuss beforehand, not after you have said yes before God or signed in court. No. It's better to be an ex-girlfriend to be an ex-wife. Please, that's what I always tell my friends. Ex-girlfriend is better than ex-wife, because ex-girlfriend, it may never exist. You who? The ex-wife, it is written everywhere. All the records in life, you were attached to this person. So before you go down that road, please tell your truth to yourself.
Speaking of truth, right? Speaking of truth, is it beneficial? And this is to the sisters out there who do this particular thing I'm about to ask. Is it beneficial to tick the box that I did it once in life and failed at it, or wait and do it right? Meaning getting married, meaning being proposed to. You know damn well you should not say yes. You know that hill that you are standing on is standing on, if you have to put it in percentage, it's hanging on 2% battery. You should not say yes, but you said yes. Is it really worth showing to the world that you got proposed to just because you wanted to say yes? Is it really worth it? I've really been asking myself that question.
I think people who do it think it's worth it, because again, what people desire drives their actions, right? And so if somebody thinks that this status is worth getting, and then when I get there, I'll deal with whatever comes, bet your ass that, yeah, that's the move that they're going to make. But to another person, they want to get the necessary tools before stepping into something, so that if this thing fails, and nothing is guaranteed, but should this thing fail, it would not be for a lack of preparation. It would not be for a lack of action on either part. It would just be that life just did not want both of us together. Shit happened. So I think that it depends on who's answering that question. But I think for whatever thing that people do, they think it's worth it. Otherwise, I don't think that that's the route that they'll follow.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'm uncool asking curious questions, so
I want us to touch on something that Loria mentioned earlier about having to go to therapy to figure out the things that you need and how you can realign, moving forward, right? And sometimes not just for relationship. But I want to ask this. Sometimes we go around with all these emotional wounds that we carry, not just from past relationships, but from parents as well, right? And I heard this term, this phrase recently, that our parents give us both gifts and gaps, right? So in your opinion, are there gaps or emotional wounds or daddy issues or mommy issues, right? And sometimes when you say daddy issues, they think that the father was Casper. Sometimes you do have a father and you do have daddy issues. Those things present in different ways. Are there some of those gaps that you can see in yourself, and how are you trying to overcome that?
I don't first of all know what daddy issues and mommy issues is to begin with.
So daddy issues and mommy issues are, let me put it in the best way that I can. It's like the emotional wounds that you get from your parents. Sometimes as out of the fact that they omitted to do something to you, or sometimes it's that something that they did that is directly affecting you. Example, your father, for example, doesn't let you doesn't acknowledge your accomplishments, right? And then you grow to know that, for example, a man is not supposed to clamor in compliments, for example. That's a wound. Those are part of the things that came directly from your father, right? Or sometimes your mother, something that you identify in her or lack of, whatever the case may be in each person. And sometimes people just don't have them. Now, don't get me wrong, not everybody does. But for those that can identify with that, those are some of the things that, maybe some people grew up in abusive homes.
Gotta go. Ladies first.
Well, I was very fortunate to grow up in a two-parent household with very much a lot of love. But at the same time, I won't sit and say I don't have any issues that came from my parents, because there's this constant, one thing I know that I realize in myself is there's this constant push to, I have to do more. That sometimes it becomes detrimental, because someone like my mom, she's a big time scholar. She has the degrees and the accolades. She would always, she may not have been the medical doctor, but then she went and got other degrees that compensated for her not going the route of being a medical doctor, because time was too long of a stretch to do how long 9 years to get doctor. But if I do 2 years here, 3 years here in between kids, then I gather the degrees. To us, we always see that as her company mechanism, because she has way too many accolades. So in us now, it was like, oh, you gotta have an A, you gotta have an A, you gotta be first, you gotta be first, you gotta be first. So it's always like, oh, what's next? Like, I got my bachelor's, I got a master's. Oh, do you think of a PhD? Like, really? Do you want me to not get other things in life? I should keep going with school? Like, what is it? Like, it's always that, oh, you gotta do better. You get, oh, this person's, sometimes it comes from a good place, but sometimes I feel like it's too much pressure. It's like, oh, I'm gonna say this in French because that's how it sounded in my head. It's like, oh, l'enfant de tel a fait comme ça là. Toi, mais tu ne fais pas ça pourquoi? Man, can I at least enjoy where I'm at? Can I enjoy the small money I'm making? Like, really? Can that be a thing? So to me, there's always that little voice in the head saying that, oh, you could do more, you cannot, and there's all of this other thing. To me, this is light, but I'm noticing that it's a very bad habit. It's like I don't know how to just sit down. Oh, there's this thing that I had to clean. There's this little, and unfortunately, it's like my partner says, I beg rest. I cannot just sit and relax on the whole Saturday. It's just like maybe I should clean out the cupboards. Maybe I should pull all those plates out and deep clean. Maybe I should. And it's because and when we went back home and he saw the way my mom works. It's like this is where you get the habit from. You guys don't know how to sit down and be contented with what is happening now. Like just enjoy the right now. It's just like, oh, I forgot to fold the clothes. Wait, let me go back and fold all the clothes. Oh, I remember that this one thing. It's like you just don't sit down. So now it trickles down to, so sometimes to me when I just see people sitting down, I'm just like, that's being lazy. Like you could find something to do. And that's a very, you would think that, oh, it's because I'm orderly. That's a bad thing. Anyways, when I talk about it in therapy, it's like that's a coping mechanism of something. It's bad.
I'll go before Uncle Ike goes. For me, right, I think one, it's many things, right? But I think the one thing that I can relate to in something you just said about just being able to sit. Um, I hate the thought of me not being able to be productive is enough to throw me over a cliff. And I'm not trying to be dramatic, right? Like how am I not my highest producing self? That's me. And if not that, sometimes money and things is a factor. I think I'll get all the degrees in this world just because of that. And that came from my father, right? He was very, like, it was never enough for him. Like, you're first. Like, I was constantly top 3 all through school. It was never enough for him. Even if I had, like, when I go, like, when I'm, like, my worst results, if I'm third, I have to write an apology letter to explain why I was third in my class. That was my dad, and he did not play that game. So I worked my butt off just so that I would prove myself. I'm talking right from primary school. I'm still thinking I'm having flashbacks of sitting at the dining table, crying and writing an apology letter to explain why I had an 80% in math. And mind you, I'm first in class. So I grew up with that. I have to be my highest functioning self. And I've, things that you get nurtured with, sometimes they don't just go away. And the form in which you internalize those things, it shows up in all these different things. And sometimes people are like, oh, why this gotta be straight? Oh, why this gotta be straight? Sometimes I sit and I laugh at myself, but I cannot help it. Right? And it builds some sort of like a perfectionism in you where if I'm not my best, just throw me over a cliff. I'm useless. That's me. But now I am learning on how to be okay. And there's a question recently that I had to ask myself, which I read from a book. And it said that you have to define what enough means to you. And that's something that I'm working on, right? Like, when is enough? When is the money enough? When are the degrees enough? When is the cleanliness enough? When is, like, I'm a grown ass adult. If I tell you that I've never been on a vacation, because I'm just thinking, like, wait, I like the idea. I'll go away for a weekend or some, but like, say you take me somewhere and I'm just sitting like that. Oh, absolutely not. Throw me out the window. Where those are things that we carry, and I'm hoping that it might not go away, but I'm hoping that's something that I don't get to do to my kids, where they feel like there's this constant thriving, where you always have to keep performing, or you always have to keep being your highest best self. But yeah, Uncle AK, carry go. I did not mean to bring the mood down.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. On contrary to what you said, I'll do the exact opposite. You know what I mean? Like, cry me a river all you want, talking about my dad is strict or my dad pushes, is always about work. You will learn to appreciate it later in life. Or if you don't, I guess you'll be one of those people who, anyways, yes, one of those people. You know what I mean?
Oh, what do you mean by your dad? Oh, you mean your kids talking about you being strict and stuff?
Yes. Like,
I mean, I will, but I'm not gonna make my kid write me an apology letter.
Oh, no, not that. Not that to that extreme, right? But I also understand why that's necessary. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody did that to me, I'm pretty sure I would not have been in the last 5 all the time. You understand? I would not, like, when I tell you, if my name did not feature in the best out of worst, I'll be looking around like, what did I do wrong? You know what I'm saying? Like, why others are striving to be the first? Me, I was striving to be in the last 5, just because, But anyways, fast forward to today, I honestly wish that I had listened and pushed, because I could see where I would have been better or done better, right? And I would not wish that my own offspring could think or do that. Not to say that I don't have their own persona, but I would, say, hey, this was my own experience, and this is how, I wish I would have shaped it, hoping that they can use that as an example to also shape their own world. And if they don't, hey, what's my problem, right? Just like God, he says, hey, you go into the world and, be this great person. I've, coined your life for you, but we come and we do our own. You know what I mean? He still forgives us, well, unquote. But yeah, for those who believe. All that to say, I don't hold my parents I don't hold nothing against them. No daddy or mommy issues, man. I could give a shit whether they listen. I'm here today because of them, right? Number one. Number two, they are not perfect, and there are things that they wish they could have done, and they would never have the opportunity to, right? Because 1, maybe finances, 2, maybe, I don't know, whatever their reasons are, right? But the ones that they gave me, I'm able to take that and do what, and be what I am today. And I'm very grateful for that, One thing that, is very minute, well, it's not minute, it's very big, is, for example, our parents moving the entire fam from Cameroon to America. You know what I mean? That's big. I cannot sit with that and I still be crying daddy issues or mommy issues. And then, get problem, no. You know what I'm saying? So at some point, you got to be able to let go of it. Therapy or no therapy, you got to be able to let go of it. You holding on to it, what does it do for you? How does it keep shaping you, and things like that. Yeah. Growing up, they never said I love you much, but does not mean that me growing up, I could not say it back. Just because they didn't teach them, does that mean that me watching movies, me listening to music, these people who say that they never learn how to love, you listen to all the love musics in the world and it never soften your heart. It never soften your heart. Can you imagine? It has to take for your mom and your dad to show you how to love. But then you went into the world and you went to school and you learned all these things, but you never once learned love from the neighbor, right? or whomever you are following, celebrity, crush, or that is married, whichever. You never learn to do that, but you go and blame it on your parents. No problem. But who says I'm only waiting for them to be parents too as well, so that I come and take notes what kind of parent you'll be. Since you are so highly mighty and perfect, you will get it right, right? No problem. When it's your turn, please show us how you get it right, different from your parents. Because it's easy to sit and judge them, right? Then when you sit now, when you are wearing that shoe and it's pinching, no, you not sit and go and say, oh, dad, mom, please, I'm sorry, that I was thinking like this. Now that I'm dealing with it, all right, and I really understand. No, ego is too much to go and apologize. But anyways, that's one take to it. Learn to forgive your parents, same as you want your kids to come and forgive you too as well. It's a machine that keeps going, right? And it will keep going, and it will keep going. Do yourself a favor and oil it right. That's all I got to say to that.
You just use 5 minutes to discredit daddy and mommy issues. But while we are on that, right? What you're here now, and this goes to both of you. You're here now. How would you advise your younger self? What to maybe just like one, it must not be the most important, but something that comes to your mind, right? Because I don't want to rate it, because I'm sure there's a lot of things you would advise, but if the you now was to give your younger self advice, which version of the younger you would that be, and what would you tell them?
Be gentle. Be gentle, meaning that, like for me, I can hear something and run with it, right? Sometimes, well, most times, some things come easy. Like I can hear something and I can quickly parse it and know what to do or how to approach it, right? And just because I am able to do that does not mean the very next person in front of me can do that. So be kind, be gentle when you approaching somebody who is not able to parse things in, as fast as you are, process as fast as you are. I mean, as fast as I can. Also, too, be gentle in the sense of not everybody's story will be my story, or not everybody will see things the way I see it. And sometimes just because, I go through certain things and I'm like, that's what you're tripping about, fam. Again, experiences are different, right? So be gentle in the sense that just because that I've built the layers to be able to withstand something does not mean the next person can do that. And lastly, be gentle in the sense that, the more I grow in my faith, the more I'm able to forgive, the more I'm able to be empathetic, the more I'm able to listen more, answer less, and not be quick to smart mouth. So be gentle on all those fronts.
What about you, Gloria?
The main thing I'm gonna say is be bold. Be bold in the sense that if you know something, do not let like outside noise kind of shake your grounds, because again, the other person is louder, or the other person is, let's say loud in the sense that talking over you, or just being more, how can I say, just being unnecessarily loud. Because all through primary school, secondary school, I may know something, or I may know something, but I wasn't truly bold or confident in what I was saying, because I was like, I don't want to be wrong. I don't want people to look at me a certain type of way. I don't want to. But now, I could give till, if I know what I know, there's nothing else you're going to do about it. And that helps a lot, because at the workplace, you have to be bold and stand in your place. If not, you will not get anything. In life, you have to be bold and say what you want for it to actually happen. And even in your friendships, you have to be bold in being able to tell your friends. And let me credit this. This is something I learned from you, Therese, because Therese does not give a rat's ass if you will be mad at her, but she is going to tell you that whatever foolishness you're doing is not making sense. She will tell you, if you want, you don't talk to me after, but I'm telling you in all love. And you have to, whether you take it or not, she's gone. She said it and she's gone. And at the beginning of our friendship, that used to piss me off so bad. Like, why would you just say that and just go? Like, why? Why don't you want to kind of, because I'll be like, when they say truth sandwich, kind of cuddle whatever you want to say so that it's easy for the other person to digest. I don't do that anymore. If you stink, you stink. If your attitude is nasty, it's nasty. I'm not going to say, oh no, it's this, it's that, it's that. No. I'm not saying to say it in a rude way, but be loving, but say the truth. Be firm and say the truth, because that is something that a lot of us nowadays cannot do, because for fear of cancelled or losing a friend, because hey, this person said something that didn't really sit right with me, but because I don't want to lose the person as a friend, then I don't actually say how I feel, and then I just decide to keep it to myself because hey, I'm the one who can digest things more. Like, no, you hurt me, you hurt me. If you do something that I have told you is a boundary of mine, I'm going to let you go. Because if you cannot respect that boundary, then you cannot be in my life. So you have to be bold in what you say, in what you do, so that people will respect you even more.
That thing about fear of that, when you say something, people will be mad and people will be this and the third. And let me ask this. Well, all the people who think like that. When you're sitting there, you mad your own self for not saying it. What service are you doing to yourself? And then most of all, when you come back and encounter this human being and you're sitting there and your stomach is in turmoil, it's mixing in every way, shape, and form, and you are doing everything in your power and absolutely necessary to keep your composure, please and please, I ask you, what are you doing to yourself? Then you tell me I gotta go with therapy. But did you need to waste that money when it was just a simple somebody? Exactly how you felt. I don't get it. But then again, hey, people are different, right? Like me, I'd rather you be mad at me and I go me to bed peacefully knowing that I said how I felt. Now, don't get me, I'm not gonna say everything that sits, in my stomach, but I do believe that God gave me a good sense of judgment. And if my judgment tells me that you're about to do the same shit again, I'm not waiting for you to do it again to tell you. I'm gonna tell you right now. And please, I encourage you to be mad, because this is where, for me, our relationship will stand the test of time. We're talking about a waste of time. This is the perfect moment for me to know this is a perfect moment for me to know not to waste my time. You understand? Because if you cannot understand something as simple as that, when real complex things come in, would you be able to understand? Would you be able to sit down and have those conversations? Oh, I don't think so. So you might as well go meet the fakers and you guys can keep faking. And I'll just sit here by myself and still have my peace of mind. Again, my opinion. You cannot tell me it doesn't count. So, yeah.
That is so right, though, because I noticed that when I started telling people exactly how I felt, a lot of people of those friendships are kind of broken down, because it's like, oh, so these friendship depended on my silence. So
Yes, that part.
for these to survive, I had to take all this and then some more. But now that you start saying, hey, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to take that, then you can't be friends anymore. So again, that's why I said, I'd rather have one friend. Like I made some new friends when I moved here to Canada, and that's the one thing that, like I said, when I came here, that was a new life I built on myself. I was like, I'm not going to stand here and be like, oh no, yes, I can do that for you. Oh no, no, no. No. I give you my boundaries. I set my boundaries. I am loud and confident in what I say. I'm not saying say foolish things and be confident in your stupidity. That's not what I'm saying. Please don't get me wrong. But when your stuff is backed by proper evidence, stand in it and stand firm.
Yeah. Look, if Aquara is your thing, please be Aquaring away. You understand? I'm not
Thank you.
judge you. It's your tool. Use it as you please. When a carpenter goes to go and, put to go and fix a roof, he goes to go and buy the nails. He says, you know what, look at this house. I think 3 boxes is right. He buys his 3 boxes. If your thing can take, and when I say thing, I mean your vagina or dick, whichever tool you are using, if every day you want to use it, my friend, please use it and own it. Don't be doing that and come and say, oh, I don't want people to judge me. My friend, what do you really think is happening? We are judging you. But it should not stop you from living your life. Please use it and use it well. Some of us will judge, but what has it changed in you? What does it change in you? And most of all, how me judging you is paying you. How is it stopping you from sleeping? Does it even affect the salary that you will get from using it and getting your money? Does it affect it? No. So again, do your thing and do. See, anyways, all I'm saying is own your shit. Because when you do, you get the most respect. When you don't, you know what you'll be getting now. Okay.
And that's so true because I'm going to put it this way. I will respect the man more who says, I want to be single and play around. Play around with 20 girls is your business. But the moment you decide to be married and you choose one woman, you better stay in that lane. I'll respect the man more for being an aquara. It's your business. You have decided, you say you don't want any woman, you just want to be sleeping with 20,000 women every day. We can be friends. But the moment you get married, you step out once, you're out of my books. That's just how I see it.
Boom. You're wise now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, that went south.
I mean,
That
yeah.
example was off the wall, but I get it. The message was properly conveyed. But let's wrap up this way. Laura, you have a son, right? What are 2 things?
No, hold on. No, don't wrap up like that first. Oh yeah, wrap up. You cannot. You cannot.
You don't want me to wrap
Without asking this question.
Okay.
Do men really have it easy? Please. Do men have it easy? I want to know from you guys. Do men have it easy? Do you guys think men have it easy in this world?
In certain aspects, absolutely. I would
in
say
those certain aspects too, do you think women have it easy?
No. And I'll say, let me put it this way. Generally speaking, for the most part, I think men have it easy. And I'll tell you why. Because the world and the systems are designed to favor men. Now, before somebody can, this has nothing to do with, okay, the minority men are facing this and the white men are doing this. And women, if a woman coughs, the police will come and carry the man. Those are one-offs. Because I know that things like that will come out, right? Those are one-offs. But if we are looking really sometimes at systemic things, for the most part, it is built to favor a man. Let's not forget this. It was men that built these things. There's a reason why it's called patriarchy, because women were an afterthought in building these entire systems. Now, sometimes they've tried to incorporate women in some of the places and overcorrected. Like Gloria mentioned earlier, there are places where, but generally speaking, I think, yes, men do. Also, for the fact that they get to walk around and not be hormonal, I am jealous of that.
So, with that said, this is for you, Gloria. You'll get to answer both questions too. If given the opportunity, would you trade places with someone of the opposite gender? Why?
Yes.
What?
Yes. So that I want to see how
That was
the other shoe fits. And I'll tell you what, oh my God, the first thing I will try if I'm a man, I will walk up to a girl and lie to her and get her, like, because sometimes the audacity of men, I need to be a man to understand where that is coming from. It's from a very special place. And this is not just in terms of negativity, right? I'll come back to my lying to a woman thing. But I feel like because of who men are designed to be in the world, I think that audacity is engraved in them. Because if you're supposed to lead the family, if you're supposed to be a visionary, you have to be audacious. There's just no way about it, right? But sometimes we misuse our superpowers that we have. And so that's why we will see sometimes men will do something, some people are like, the audacity, where did that come from? It's inbuilt in them to be used for certain things, but just like us women, sometimes we misuse our superpowers too, right? But yes, I just want to be a man, just to use my audacity.
Let me ask this to you. So you're trying to tell me we use our brain to do math, physics, science, home economics, all these different things, but we could not use our brain when it comes to braining women?
What do you mean?
This one. You said audacity now. So
yes.
Audacity.
Okay, that does me right. Let me go back to my point about, and this might come off as, you know what, let it come out how I want to come out. If you need further math, write in the comments and I'll be glad to explain. When it comes to like sexual and relationship with women, men will tell you anything. Literally. If you don't have your 2 foot to stand on and say that, you know what, I like this guy, I choose to sleep with him. A man will tell you anything, will sleep with you, and guess who will be crying tomorrow because he has moved on to the next person? You. That's the audacity I'm talking about. And it's not, and sometimes it's not in a malicious, it's just men will lie. They will sweep, they know how to frame it.
That's what I'm asking you, right?
They know
in the world.
Mm-hmm.
In the world, a man goes into the world to hustle, right? A man goes into the world to hustle. And all they're thinking about is how I'm going to put food on the table. How pass this obstacle that's right in front of me. Why don't you see that? The same way he's viewing that is the same way he's viewing this, because you saying no is an obstacle that he got to cross. So guess what? I got to figure out a way to bypass this. This is a challenge I got to figure. And just like business, I mean, if I can find my way to like scammers and get what I need and be gone, that's exactly what I'm going to do. It's no hard feelings. It's business.
That's exactly what I said. I was not trying to refute that. That's exactly what I'm saying, that because it's in them to do they will come and so if you think that what he has said means that he wants to spend the rest of his life with you, you are grossly mistaken. Oh, he is there for business, like you have said. So that's exactly what I'm saying. I just use maybe different words or way too many words. But yeah, that's essentially what I'm referring to.
So let me ask this, right? And
hey, yes.
We'll come to you, but just my last question here, just to, give an idea to the way we think sometimes. Okay. Me, man, come to you. And all I'm telling you is how sexy you look. Oh, man, your nails are. Oh, man, your curves are. Oh, man, your lips are succulent. But not one time did I say, oh, what's your faith like in God? Oh, what have you studied in school? Oh, what are your parents like? Oh, how many siblings you have? All I care about is your physicality. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we move. You don't check saying that some person they can't sweep you off with food, carry go someplace.
And that's why I say that, right? If there are certain things that if you want to allow, you better make sure that it is something that you want and you're not thinking. And I'll tell you something about us women. It's not hard to sell a woman a dream. It's really not hard. And for the most part, we are those people who will build castles in air easily. I will hear something, I will see a man, that nature to nurture, right? Again, talking about misuse of our superpowers. That nature to nurture will make a woman, you will hear a man tell you that, I don't want kids. What you hear is, maybe if you make me change my mind, I will have kids with you. It becomes a project. You take it. So, and sometimes, and I'm not saying, I have done it too. Clearly, you hear somebody will tell you, I don't want a relationship. What you hear is, okay, I will be the exception. Maybe when I do this, it will make him change his mind. You are using your superpowers for the very wrong thing, my dear darling. So that's why I say sometimes it's not hard to sell us women a dream. Sometimes it just needs to look even adjacent to the thing that we think we want. We will wave every damn red flag and bury it if you are not cautious. That's why I still stand by saying that as a woman, you need your tools, you need your 10 toes to stand down. Because if a man comes full force with all his powers, there's no woman that will stand. If you don't have your checks and balances in order, a man comes with his masculinity, like in full force, in what you're attracted to, you will not stand. I don't care if you are the CEO of whatever, you will not stand. You will not. So have your 2 feet to stand so that when that person comes in their full, you know that you can take that time, your checks and balances will kick in. Then you can pick for yourself. Instead of, oh, it's in the neighborhood. I can change him. I can make Mama, that's the wrong project. Abort mission.
Okay, Gloria.
All that to say, yes, I will switch places with a man.
Oh, okay.
Let me put it again. I just want to know what it's like to not be hobo now.
All right. Gloria, do you think men have it easier than women?
Yes. I'm never going to explain. Yes, yes, and yes. It's just that.
Then let me ask you that. Let's remove menstrual cycle. Let's remove child labor. Let's move those 2 things just for now. Let's move those 2 things. Do you think that men still have it easier?
If you remove that, then what is left of a woman?
Okay, continue. Sorry, continue. I cannot remove it, I guess.
Because if you're removing that, then you're stripping me of who I am.
It's making you trans.
So it,
I should not laugh. I should not laugh.
so to me, I'm because let's put it this way: we have seen women go into certain fields that only men were there predominantly and excel. We have seen that multiple times. You take a man, and I'm not taking this lightly, you take a man and give him those 9 months or those cramps or those mood swings you have to deal with. Again, for some people, it seems very light because it's like, well, she's doing house chores or cooking and she's still on her period. It doesn't seem bothered. It's not because we're not also openly complaining that it's not that. It doesn't hurt. But again, as a woman, you have to do certain things. You have to. We've learned to live with it. Some people have had their periods since they were 9, and they have to keep functioning. Some people are actually. I had friends who were literally called up in fetal position every month because of cramps. That these people still could not do anything to them. So if you take that and having to do a job, let's take for example being pregnant and having to show up to work every day, whether your hormones are high or they are down, whether today you're experiencing what or what, and still have to stand and go through everything. Like, let's take my case for example. When I got pregnant, I was in line for promotion. And I knew that if I let anybody know beforehand that I'm pregnant and planning on going on mat leave, it was going to affect my promotion. And in front of the client every day, because again, client feedback counts, I had to, whether that morning I had vomited the whole day, when it was time to turn on that camera, I had to be the sharpest person to be able to keep up. But your male colleagues will not understand that part. You have to do all these things because I'm not saying that my job will not understand, oh, they are the best workplace ever. First of all, they top of mat leave like crazy. If I wanted to take off without being in competition for that, they will understand. But the way I am career driven, I wanted to back that before leaving. So it meant showing up and competing with the other men who were in line for that same promotion like nothing happened. You stayed up the whole night. You were sweating. You could not find a position to sleep. But the next day, you have to explain a whole dashboard or some whole coding that you've done. That if it did not work, first of all, your nerves are high. You cannot explain that to a man. You can even explain that to the next woman if she's not lived it. So it's like, yes, it's what God has given us. We're not refuting that. But to me, just the fact that men don't have to go through that ever in their life. Some women can by choice. But again, if you want to keep this planet revolving, some people have to do it, and some of us have decided to do it. We are not complaining, no. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that if I could still have my child like embryo in somebody, I don't know, in some artificial womb, and I'm sure that that child will come out the same way if I had carried it and I had the finances to do it. At one point, I thought about it because that's how bad it got. I'm like, if somebody else could, now I understand why people the Kardashians have surrogates because it's not funny. It's not funny. Somebody is sleeping next to you, snore it tomorrow when you cannot find position. It's not funny at all, I mean. So just, and I'm not saying that men do have it hard. They do. But again, I may be biased because I'm a woman. But just that aspect already gives me a different footing. The way I cannot sit and say I can do certain things that men can do, but when it comes to this in life, men will go and say, "Oh no, we think about running the house, we think about paying bills, whatever, whatever." But a woman in this society also thinks about that, unfortunately. She doesn't just sit and say, she doesn't have the luxury of saying, I don't think about the bills, because even if you're paying the bigger bills, she has her own bills that she's paying based on, I don't know how people's house works or whatever she wants to contribute. She thinks about it, but you never think of growing a child. You never think of doing that. That is something that you're shielded from by nature. So,
So would you come as a man or a woman? Why? Why not? Sounds like you'll come back as woman.
She already said that man. She's not explaining.
That
was the first thing she said.
Oh, got you. I think.
please, I want to be able to kick my feet up like that when the chair is crying. Be like, I beg you. Says I make it on it.
But it's the mother who knows.
I want to piece that.
There's a mother who knows. Like I mean, 9 out of 10 times. Okay, let me not say it's a mother who knows, right? But it's a mother who knows because, again, when we talk about nurturing, like you carried, like let's talk facts. You carried the kid for 9 months. You should know. You should already begin to have that instinct of, hey, man, yeah, I know to turn this guy off like this, like that. Someone like me, it would give me at least 6 months to get used to the product. You know? Please, the product just came. Give me 6 months to get used to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, know the ins and outs. But you've been hearing it. You've been hearing it kick you. You've gotten used to certain things about product versus me. You know, so, and then to that too, I mean, why are you so worried about, oh, I'm dealing with this? How about the fact that I got to deal with you and the person that's causing you to be like that? 2 in 1. How about that?
You know, as somebody off his mic.
You know what I'm saying? How about that? Because at 2 a.m. in the morning, wake up and say, oh, I'm banana. There's no banana in the house. I'm supposed to go and fetch it.
You put this child in me, you go and find the banana.
I'm glad you said you put this in me. Again, without me, this would not be possible.
You know what? I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole other conversation.
See, whether you go IVF or VIF or surrogate or whichever you want to put it, however you want to put it, even if you hold a man at gunpoint, you are still extracting the sperm from that man to put it into a woman for it to happen. I'm yet to hear there's a synthetic sperm and that it worked. I'm yet to hear it. I'm yet to hear that, oh, somebody put sperms in a container and it magically grew, multiplied. I'm yet to hear it. So till they're able to do that and say, oh, they did not need a man for that, please. Keep giving us that respect that we deserve. Number one.
First of all,
we love men.
Your work was like 1 minute. My work is like 9 months. So David compares.
Okay, hold on. See, that's a whole different conversation in itself. Please. You know, I used to grow up thinking that it was very easy for a woman to get pregnant. I don't think the same way right now. I don't think the same way right now. No.
No, it's not an easy process, actually. But when it happens, like she said, it only takes sometimes even 30 seconds. You don't even need to. Yeah.
But you don't know when. But you don't know when it happens, right? You don't know when it happens. You know things.
Oh no, you can. If you properly track your cycle, everything being equal. If you
you don't know which.
Yeah, true.
Which of the swimmers ran first?
You see, you need like 10,000 of them. I just need one.
You know what? No, we're not going to do that. We're not entering that because he's about to launch a missile and take us to space. No, you're not.
Into this one. I see you're beating me into this one. Anyways, seriously though, we need each other at the end of the day. You know,
yes,
we need each other.
Yes, we do.
I don't subscribe to the whole thing of batching each other anymore. I don't even think I did ever. You know, we do have our flaws. We do have the things that make us great, man, woman. You know, to me, I really think that we need to always, one, sit and communicate And where communication lacks, both people need to do due diligence to either see that this is not something that will last long term, or like we've been talking therapy and fix it. Because without that, none of that is even worth it to begin with. And don't bring a kid if communication is not part of. Do not even dare try it. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, again, like I said, we should all work together. Me, if I come again, I'm coming as a man. I'm never coming as a woman. Never thought about it. Never dreamt of it. And please, God, never even let me dream about it, because it's never been a feature that I want to press in a remote control. No, I don't even want to. So, yes, I have a daughter. I wish I could have all sons, but God started me with one. I hope He doesn't make me have, 4 girls. If He does, well, we'll still take it, but I don't know, Mio. But I'm not praying for it at all. I hope this one I have is one and last. The rest should come at boys. I'll be very happy. But that's just my take.
Well, folks. We had it all. Thank you for that expose. But let's wrap up like this. Let me go back. Can I wrap up now?
No, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Laura, you have a son. What are quickly 3 things that you would teach your son or you would tell him about relating to a woman?
Unfortunately, that to me, I don't like when people do that, because I feel like it's not my role to teach him how to treat a woman, but his dad.
Why? Why do you say that? That's an interesting take.
Because I don't know the psychology of a man. I may understand to a certain extent, but
Mhm.
I do not know the psychology of a man, and I'll never pretend to know the psychology of a man. I can nurture him and tell him how women like to be treated from our perspective, but
Mhm.
from his perspective, it's supposed to come from his dad. And that's a conversation I had before our son was born, that we had.
Mhm.
If he doesn't see, like I said to his dad, if he doesn't see you do certain things, he will tend to never want to do them or not know how to do them. Or it will take a lot of broken-hearted women for him to be able to get it right. So, but to me, what I'm going to do to help him make his future wives, yes, I'm saying wife because he's going to get married, future wives,
Amen to that.
because what you put out there is what you receive.
Yes, ma'am.
What his future wife's life easier will be being a big participant in household chores. I'm not saying to not let her be the woman, but be able to step up and cook a whole dinner without needing detailed instructions. Being a self sufficient individual before going to attach himself to another person, to a woman. Because that is where a lot of men stress out, just say these people will stress out women, is because they had their moms do everything for them, and when they come into a relationship they want the wife to pick up from there. Don't even try it. Her father was treating her as a princess. So you have to be able to be self-sufficient, and her being in your life is a plus. It's not like, oh, I don't do this now because I have a wife. I don't.
Hmm.
It's a plus. And then the other thing is being able to be emotional without thinking that it's at your detriment. Because I don't know why, but a lot of men think that being emotional
It's
is
feminine.
not, yeah, it's feminine. Whereas to me, being emotional shows that you're in touch with who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's how I see it. But again, I'm not going to be his role model because I don't know what it means to be standing up. I can try, but I can never do it. So
You will run down your legs. That is very interesting. You said something that I don't think that I had thought about, right? And this was not me trying to say that okay, woman can teach that, right? But sometimes we're quick to want to offer this help, and I never looked at it from the perspective that you just brought up. That sometimes being able to treat a woman, it takes to be able to see a woman through a man's eyes. And that's something that I don't think that I have ever thought about in terms of like teaching children how how to do certain things. So that's something for me to think about.
Yeah, yeah. I think to L'Oreal's point, I think one of the disservice that if we're talking really that most of I would say our parents did is you know how they say when you see when how do you say it? When you know what's wrong, how do you put it? When you know what's wrong, you do something about it. I don't know. Like when you see something that's wrong, you
Oh,
say,
when you know better, you do better.
when you know better, you do better. So it's acts like, you know, they know that, okay, I know my son is dating that girl, but I know he's not going to last, I know he's not serious about how to take her anywhere. Why not advise her on, my son, you know damn well that you and that girl are going nowhere. So why would you break her heart? Why don't you just leave her and take the high road? Necessary conversations like that, but that's something that we will not touch. Why? I never know. But anyways,
Okay, let me joke before you finish. My mom actually did that to one of my brother's girlfriends.
my mom too.
Yes. And when I tell you that, I ran my mom and I look at that, I fear that woman. From that, I feared that woman. She really sat this girl down and she said, then my brother was big time in the streets. And this girl would come home and she would be doing things and she would stay over. They had their side of the house. My mom would see her, she would cook, she would bring. My mom sat her one day. She said, my dear, come. You know that this boy is not serious. We are sitting there like my jaw was on the floor. She said, I like you. I really do. She said, well, this boy is not serious. I promise you, you can do better.
yeah, I think if that happens, really, some of us will actually, you know, get to understand really what it means to be what to take accountability of our actions really because sometimes we go through life and nobody really checks us like that and because nobody really checks us, who is who to tell us when and what not to do or to do, so we'll just be doing. And guess what, the validation not really needed never came, so whatever you were saying, that's on you. It's not me to valid, to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? Because all the validation I needed, I already got. Right. So maybe that's something that, could be explored in this next generation. But um damn, I knew I should have said something. I forgot what I was going to say about what you said. Let's move on. Another day.
It's all right. Well, carry go.
No, what was the first thing you said? It was something you said. What was the first thing you said?
I said,
No, Laurie,
my
what was the first thing she said in her conclusion?
Oh, then I cannot take the place of a man
Huh?
raising my son.
That well?
Oh, you talk about when I said it's not my role to teach my son how to treat a man, how to treat a woman.
Oh yeah. No. Oh, yeah. I think I answered that. Yeah. I mean, I think I responded to that because I was
Yeah.
having, like, as we were saying, like something came to mind that I wanted to say, but I wanted you to finish first. Anyways, whatever. I think I remember. If I remember, I'll say it next some other episode. But yeah. Uh, yeah. Good points. Good points. I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that.
all right, okay, carry go.
What's your own conclusion now?
Me,
No, that person next to you.
My conclusion was that Laura gave me something to think about, right? A new perspective. That's what I said.
Am I
That is,
the only one missing everything that people are saying? What do you mean by that's what I said? Why did you say that?
that's the very first thing I
That's
said
a
after she finished.
Okay, sorry, my bad. I guess.
But yeah, that is something that I think if my time comes with kids, I think that's something that I made a note of that I would implement. That is actually a good way to go about it. Yeah, that was my conclusion.
Yeah, so yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate you, Loria and Liliana as well, for participating in this two-series episode. And hopefully, you, the listeners and watchers, enjoy this episode. If there's something you took from it, one thing, two, three, please share in the comment section with us. Or if there's something you disagree with, I know for a fact there's something you disagree with, especially what I said. Just share in the comment section. Don't be shy. Let me know and let me know what your grief is. So let's tackle it. You know what I mean? I'm always up for conversations. But anyways, yeah, Loria, she did make a ton of points today, which again, I myself too. Me, I like when somebody's convicted by what they say. You know what I mean? Don't come and be shaky, 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 shaky. The minute somebody smell shaky, shaky fear, like T said, the audacity on man, it's not the audacity, you're just not standing on firm ground. You feel me? And because, like a dog, I can smell your fear, I'm attack. Now, don't blame me for attacking. Blame yourself, for having fear in you. But anyways, I'm Uncle AK, one of the hosts, got T, my co-host, and our guest today, Loria. Thank you for joining us again. Appreciate it all the way from
Thank you. I know.
Thank you. I mean, thank you for not taxing us, or putting tariffs on this episode.
Hey, dear God.
You know what I mean? But hey, if there's anything that I think you should take from this conversation is change starts with conversations and action. And I got to bite those words too. You know what I mean? I really got to bite those words. But anyways, change starts with conversations and actions. Anything else comes after that. It's an umbrella. So thank you all again for watching. Hit that like, subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Follow us on all social platforms. PWC Cast is a handle. And we are out. Until the next one, peace.